Warlocks. The Warlock journey in Classic is a unique one. It is a journey filled with adventure and awe, one that realistically no other class can match. So, let's find out why. As a Warlock, contrary to most other classes in the game, except for Hunters, is a class often indicated to have an easier time while leveling in the dangerous world of Azeroth, primarily due to the ability of having pets, your demonic minions. And it is here that you'll find your most treasured memories and rewards as a Warlock while leveling, truly making you feel like a master of chaos and demons. The binding or summon quests. Instead of mindlessly getting it passively, depriving you of the experiences of what it means to be a Warlock, or even buying it from the trainer, here, in order to learn how to summon your demonic minions, requires you to chase after grimoires, ancient tomes, and the branch? It is through these items and subsequently quests that we'll learn how to summon the powerful demons straight out of the Nether. But it doesn't stop there. Now you need to defeat them, prove your worth, and bind them to your will. Voidwalker, Fell Hunter, and Succubus, or even your Imp, are more than just a pet that you get. It's a pet that you earned. To this day, I still remember the name of my esteemed Voidwalker, the pet that you can use the most often, protecting you to its last breath. Literally. But those were your regular minions that you had permanently. At the higher levels, as a more powerful Warlock, you gained the ability to bind even more powerful demons, the Infernal and Doomguard, at level 55 and 60 respectively. The Infernal, similarly to your past binding quests, required you to travel all over Azeroth in search of powerful Felfire in order to bring an Infernal back to life. This is what's gonna take to reanimate the dead husk of Crocius in Felwood. But once you do, you will slay the pitiful demon once again, take his core, and learn the skill to summon an Infernal anytime you wish. But this isn't a normal minion. He is summoned as an enslaved demon, not a regular minion, meaning that after a certain time left unkilled, the Infernal will be set on the loose, murdering friends and foes alike. The ultimate troll tool. And granted, he wasn't very strong, mostly a glorified distraction, but damn, wasn't it badass to see this huge ball of Felfire crashing from the skies to stun your enemies, attacking anything in sight. However, it doesn't stop at the Infernal. The Doomguard takes the meaning of being a Warlock to a whole other level. Just like the Infernal, you will travel all over Azeroth, from Darmal to the demon-infested area of Winterspring, to finally the Tinted Scar in the Blasted Lands. It is here, in the same area that Lord Kazak roams, that we'll face the Doomguard commander. Once succeeded, you will learn the Ritual of Doom, a spell so powerful that not only takes 80% of your total mana, but a random chunk of your health. But it doesn't stop there. It also needs not one, not two, like your summon ability, but 5 players to perform the summon. But there's still a trade-off. One of them will die, randomly as a sacrifice. And like the Infernal, this demon could go rampant, killing everything that stood near. The feeling of danger, of trading life for power, is a theme embedded with Warlocks. Just look at LifeTap, and the Ritual of Doom, the Doomguard, though a niche ability, was an awesome minion to have under your will. One that made you feel truly as a Warlock. But isn't just amazing minion class quests that makes you feel awesome and connected to both your character and class. There's still the mount quests, giving even more characterization and rewards to Warlocks. The envy of every mount lover. At level 40, your mount quest was rather simple. Go here, talk to this person, and get your mount. Not only did it allow you to bypass the trouble that is to get 100 gold, your Dreadsteed, or rather Felsteed, was simply put, awesome. This is a world where most players would be riding on their respective race mounts, with few on very rare drops, from raids and alike, but the Felsteed stood out from the herd. Every time you saw one pass by, it made you want to be a warlock. I want to ride that, not the freaking Pinto. So imagine if that Felsteed became even more badass. Fire is cool, so why not have more of it? The Dreadsteed. Unlike Felsteed, your epic mount variant embarked you on a new long journey. So you will travel to every corner of the world, chasing after item drops, purchasing expensive reagents, venturing through dungeons, and buying a whole lot of expensive materials. No more freebies here, but once you complete it, you will trigger an entire new boss-like battle in Dire Maul. One that will be branded in your memory for years to come. You will look at it with excitement like nothing encountered yet on your journey. That is the Warlock. You will ride it with pride that nobody but fellow Warlocks are able to ride it, and pride that you earned it. That's what it means to be a Warlock in WoW. You might not have the struggles of other classes while leveling, but damn, doesn't it make you feel like one? But that's the leveling experience. What about gameplay? Well, soul shards. The curse of locks lies in little shiny shards, the soul of enemies that you can drain near death. Theoretically, a really cool designed ability that ultimately adds to the Warlock fantasy, but in practice, especially when it comes to endgame content like raiding, soul shards will be spread around your already small bags like a freaking plague. Summons, health stones, soul stones are all unique to Warlocks. Amazing utility abilities that makes you feel useful and glad that this was a class that you picked. Because remember, no other class or system in the game could do what you do, like summons. Though sometimes you might feel too useful. In 40-man raids, with the respective abilities requiring a soul shard for each and every use, on top of your regular pet summons and other small abilities, well, let's just say that you won't have a very nice time. Even prepared can prove to be a pain. Who decided not to stack soul shards truly is an evil, evil man. But outside of soul shard annoyances, Warlocks possess one of the most powerful and fun abilities in the game. Fear. Fear in classic WoW, especially in PvP, will make you feel like a god, easily controlling your foe as you damage it. Because you see, fear in classic is not easily broken by dots, nor was affected by the same level of diminishing returns as today. So in one-on-one fights, you can dominate by just fearing your enemy to almost eternity. That in combination with your other abilities like your Voidwalker Shield, Drain Life, Master Demonologist and Soul Link in the demo tree, making every Warlock dream come ever closer to being a tank, so close, could make you go from a weak clothy to a durable beast that will never die. Controlling your enemy like a puppet, slowly damaging it with dots, using the life force of friends and foes alike is the absolute fantasy of a Warlock. All that said, there's yet another ability type, very unique to Warlocks: curses. You're not just damaging, but you are debuffing, slowing, and crippling your foes. Hell, they are curses, so might as well have them behave like such, even if most of them were a niche. They gave you control and extra utility that no other class brought, on top of everything else you already had. Sadly though, outside of PvP and solo play, most of these cool curses were left unused, or you were limited by one or two, as enemies had a debuff limit, meaning that on bosses you could be on the shitty spot of being the Curse of Elements bitch instead of your damaging dealing one Agony, or none at all if there wasn't any room, removing some of the excitement and choice of what curse to use on any given fight. But there's no denying that curses added some extra flavor to warlocks. No matter the spec you played, you are a warlock, and curses, just like the fear ability, is embedded right into its DNA. Another issue that this presented is, like I said, even though as Warlock you have a vast different array of spells to use, barely even fitting on all of your action bars, in raids or PvE content, due to the said debuff limitations, you cannot really expect to fill the target with all of your dots in your arsenal, like Immolate, Corruption, Curse of Agony, or Siphon Life in Affliction spec, meaning that Shadowbolt will become your main ability. This opens one possibility though, if you don't mind one button spam, in order to become the ultimate Shadowbolt god. Using the right talents, a mix between Destruction and Demonology, called the DS/Ruin build. Here, you will mix Demonic Sacrifice with Succubus, increasing your shadow damage by 15%, plus Ruin, doubling your critical strike damage on your Destruction abilities. Well, let's just say your Shadow Bolts are gonna hit like a freaking truck, even reaching the famed 10k Shadow Bolt crits in Axe gear, all with just one click of a button. You can argue that is boring, because, well, it is. But in the end, no other class could reach such high crits like Warlocks could. You still might not be the most powerful DPS spec like Warriors, Mages, or Rogues, but you were competing with the best of them. That is, until you got the appropriate gear. And a pretty decent healer, as you'll be very glad between a healer that keeps track of your health in order for you to life tap freely, to a healer that gets annoyed at you for constantly losing HP. Sadly, there was always that guy. In the end, the journey of the Warlock is a rich one. One that I recommend anyone fan of WoW or even RPGs to partake. They might not be the most fun class to play at high-end rating and general PvE content until TBC, and can arguably have a great deal of cons, but they reward you with a fantastic experience, filled with excitement, mystery, and honestly a whole lot of badassery, because hell, you a Warlock.